Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Bug Watch. Number 7. We're getting there. 7 weeks in a row. I'm not doing bad. I am bunged up this week, so apologies for it being slightly delayed and me sounding like a flat tire on a pickup truck. We have, however, some great lists to show for you this week. We've got 2-4-1 lists. Brilliant. Happy days. We're getting there. Maybe another GT is on the way. We also have a very fun list coming up from next week, which features a ton of Gene Stealers, if that's your bag. So yeah, very exciting. Let me know what you think of these lists. Like and subscribe and put things in the comments. Hit me up, man. I want to hear about it. Cool. Let's go with the lists. All right, guys. We've got a very running theme, a big running theme this week of harpies and double hive tyrants, essentially. We've seen that do very well for Mark Harper, and now we're seeing it kind of different, like some twists and takes on the list. So this list we're looking at is Jason Horn. He came third out of 25 players with a 4-1. He was at the Calling the Banners GT. Run by Risky Rollers. It was WTC-ish. I've put a picture here, and that was all the way in Australia. And hey, guys, not being funny, but $300 for a first prize place. I don't know what $300 is in UK money or dollars, American dollars, but sounds pretty good, right? Our friend Jason here took away third place, which was also a cash prize. So well done to him. So yeah, I'm going to stop banging on about Mark Parker's list, but it keeps coming up, right? It's doing pretty well. This one does have the 2 Hive Tyrants, it does have the 2 Harpies, it does have the Carnifexes. However, he swapped out 2 Tyrant Guard and 3 Carnifexes for a squad of and a squad of Hormigans as well. For more Termagants, a Tervigan, and some utility pieces to do some primary bits for him. And also, like, plant bombs in that mission, etc. Whereas I feel Mark's list kind of goes all in on stopping you scoring. What Jason's list tries to do is do that, but also like fill some of the weaknesses that the list does have in terms of maintaining primary. Of course, these monsters don't have obsec. They are Leviathan with the adaptive trait, so they kill stuff real good and they're very durable. But when it comes to like scoring primary, they can get pushed off objectives. So yes, the Tervigan gives you more of that ability. It's really hard to keep Termagants off objectives when there's a Tervigan around. But also, what the Tervigan does is it gives you a little bit more flex on scoring Warp Ritual, because I think having 2 Hive Tyrants and relying on them to do the psychic secondaries is a bit tough, because you also want them casting, potentially. So what the Tervigan does is that's almost your first wave, right? You can go into the middle of the board or near the middle of the board with the Termagants, who will keep that Tervigan alive. The Tervigan also has adaptive biology, so it's got a 5 up Feel No Pain. So hopefully that scores you full 12 on Warp Ritual, or scores you at least like 12 or 9 on Psychic Interrogation, before the Hive Tyrants maybe have to go in and pick up the remainder. What else we got? We've got some interesting stuff as well in terms of perfectly adapted on the Shard Gullet Hive Tyrant, which is a really nice way of saying make 3 saves at damage 5, please. So that's quite cool. Yeah. So it's a pretty nice list, and well done to Jason for coming third with this and going 4-1. In terms of secondaries, I think we are looking at banners or retrieve battlefield data. Maybe not retrieve battlefield data, because you've only got the gargoyles that can really like fly around and do it. But a killie secondary is also something that this can do, given it's got loads of guns and a psychic secondary as well. All right. Moving on to the next list. Sorry, just had to mute there to be disgusting. Right, we have Kevin Davies. Hopefully the same Kevin Davies that used to play for Bolton Wanderers up front would make me very happy. If you're an American, you don't get that joke, don't worry about it. It's more for me than anyone else. Kevin has seen another great performance here at Battlefield Birmingham. He went 4-1 with victory over our very own 6++ David Murdoch. He beat Votan, Grey Knights, Demons, and Custodies, with his only loss coming in the first round to Yanari. So a tough game against Unari at the moment it is, because they're doing very well. And like Jason, Kevin opted for a similar style of list. So he's opted for 3 Carnifexes rather than 2. He's kept the 5 Tyrant Guard from Mark's list, but he's lost some of the chaff and a harpy for board presence. And a harpy in return for board presence in the form of the Parasite of Mortrex with Alien Cunning. You know how much I like that Parasite. Venom Throps, which will obviously keep things alive a little bit longer, but also a nice little like third wave, or if there's any chaff that needs dying, the Venom Throps can do that. And 2 Lictors, which can obviously, score you a bit of points there. In terms of like the secondaries here, I think you could do something behind enemy lines, but I think it's probably going to cost you a lot of CP to put Lictors, I mean, you could put them in reserve at the start of the game, I suppose, and then just bring them in, but you've got to bring them in turn 2 or turn 3, and if you haven't absolutely made a hole in your opponent, that might be difficult. You've got the Parasite, which can fly up there. One of the things I quite like doing is having the Parasite and 1 CP encircle the prey before coming down in my opponent's deployment zone turn 5. Especially if they're taking something like Assassinate, how great is that? That you can, if you got the second term, you just take it off the board so you can't kill it, and then it's coming down in their deployment zone for like a 7-point swing, which is really nice. 6-point swing rather. So yeah, this list does a very similar thing, right? It's going after the opponent while trying to score a bit of primary on the side. Sorry, a bit of secondaries on the side. There isn't the Tervigan here. That is notable. But I think there's just a few utility pieces that will help Kevin score. And you can see it by the scores, actually. I haven't put them on here, but the scores were quite good for both Kevin and Jason. Yes, this was at Battlefield Birmingham, the terrain. As you can see on the picture there, it's kind of like a specific terrain pack, I believe, similar to WTC. But yes, well done to Kevin for that. All right, next list. We are looking at a list from next week. We're looking at Brian Horton of Death or Glory. He's going to the All Is Dust GT in Canada. We've got all the terrain. I couldn't find a map of like a table, so I've put the terrain pieces here. But what's interesting here is there's some big, old, obscuring terrain pieces. You could definitely fit a Flying Hive Tyrant behind one of those. And I think that's what Brian's game is here. So he's bringing a slightly different archetype to the other lists, really. So the other list is basically saying, hey, we're going to kill you before you can score points. So just be, I'm coming at you. But we're going to shoot you to do it. What Brian's list does is say, we're going to do the same thing, but I'm going to touch you all over the place with everything. And I think that's pretty cool. That sounds like a fun game to play, to be fair. Because we score poorly, let's just get on top of the opponent and stop them scoring. So what tools has Brian brought to achieve this? Well, we've got the most notable thing is 3x10 Gene Stealers, who all forward deploy, who all could obviously get a first turn charge quite easily. If you were so inclined, they are behemoth as well with the adaptive. So they are re-rolling their charges. They are strength 5 on the charge. They can get +1 to wounds for a CP. It's, they are quite lethal. I'm interested. I would really love to see how Brian deploys this, because the absolute animal in me would love to put these on within charging distance turn 1 of my opponent. But then the other side of me says, well, yes, but if you go second, that's dangerous. But what else have we got? We've got a Winged Hive Tyrant with the Reaper of Obliterax. I am more and more coming around to this again, right? If you can have this guy just chilling at the back, you've got all your other units kind of trying to take out anything that would cause a threat to that Hive Tyrant, and then you bring it out turn 3. Whoa, that's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's also, fairly decent against some big threats at the moment in terms of, like, I don't know, Deathwing Terminators, etc. He's got adaptive biology in case anyone does get a shot on him, so he's got a 5 up field no pain. It's all very nice. We've got a Broodlord. We've got 2 Broodlords here. They can get forward and do the psychic actions while the Gene Stealers are up there punching things. Of course, the Broodlords also give these Gene Stealers, or any unit with core, an extra AP on their attack, so they're -4. Oh, Marines aren't getting saves. Ooh, lovely. I'm a big fan of that. Then in the fast attack, we do have all the snakes. We've got Morlocks, Raveners, and Trigon. So the Morlock obviously comes in, will help score behind enemy lines. Trigon the same. although the Morlock is significantly better at it. I've not seen a Trigon on the battlefield in ninth, personally. I'd love to give it a go, but I just can't see it working. Hopefully, Brian's on stream at some point this weekend. I'd love to see it. And you've got the Raveners as well. Raveners are really, really great. And the fact that you can encircle the prey them is really strong, especially like, just getting them all over the board, being where you need them to be is just really handy. So this list, really strong again. I think it's going after the same secondaries as what the Gorgon, with all the Hormagaunts list is doing. So behind enemy lines, probably an action secondary, probably a psychic secondary, maybe leaning to something along the lines of cranial feasting with this as well, because the Gene Stealers can do that. Although, if I'm right, I've not put it on here, but I don't think he's taken the, I can't remember what the word is, so I'm going to say snake face. He hasn't taken the snake face, so Hive Tendrils, is that it? No, I can't remember, but basically he doesn't get the benefit when he kills the unit, I believe. So yes, the Venom Throps will do that for him. So a bit of cranial feasting there's potential for some cranials to be feasted upon. So very exciting, very exciting. And that, my friends, is the lists for this week. Guys, thank you very much for listening to me this week. I hope that my heavily congested nose did not affect your listening experience too much. I didn't want to miss this. I am obsessed with getting one of these out every week, and there are no excuses. It has to happen. So apologies if it was. But also, high five to me, myself, for doing it. I'm just going to high five myself. So, for those of you going into events this weekend, best of luck. I'm definitely going to be there rooting for you. I'm an RTT myself, taking a list that I instantly regret submitting. And big thank you to all the guys whose lists I've featured today. Well done, and good luck to Brian at the weekend. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, any feedback, I want to hear it. Like and subscribe, do all that stuff, and I will catch you next week for some more Bug Watch and more Tyranid lists.